Hey guys, it's Mare. Today we're talking about gym equipment. I'm sure when you're in the gym, sometimes you'll see people wearing knee sleeves or wrist straps or a belt. You're trying to figure out what they're using it for. Today we're gonna go over when you should use it, how you should use it, and if you should add it into your workouts. Let's get into it. So first we're gonna talk about knee sleeves. Now, do you need knee sleeves in order to do squats? If anyone's wearing knee sleeves other than squatting, it's not necessary. But for knee sleeves, all this does is it helps kind of protect your knee. It keeps it warm, especially if you are in like a warehouse gym or anything like that. It kind of helps keep it warmer. Now, my knee sleeves are a little tight. Do you want them tight? Yes, you do want them tight, but not so much that you're gonna like cut off your circulation to your leg or to your feet, because that could be really bad. But you want them tight enough to be able to give you that spring in your squat. That's usually what they're for. The main purpose is to keep your knees warm. And then now that we've gotten them a little tighter, kind of helps get you a little spring out of the bottom of the hole of your squat. And I'm just using a little hack to get these on because I have really long fingernails. So especially my girlies that love to get their nails done, I use deadlift straps, which we'll go over a little bit later. Wrap them around and we just scooch them up, pull them out, and flip it up. So in squats, sometimes you'll see people wearing just their socks, which is totally fine. You want to be able to really feel just flat surface. If you have any running shoes or anything like that, it absorbs it too much and you're not really gonna have a good quality squat. So I love my Chucks, they're my favorites. All right, so we're going to do our squats today. Now, I guess the real big question is it necessary or should you get knee sleeves when you're doing squats? Now, for a more advanced lifter, if you wanna lift heavy, it might be helpful to help keep your knees a little bit warm or give you that spring out. If you're just beginning, it's not totally necessary, but if you wanna add them in, you totally can. And those are knee sleeves. They're really handy. I really like having them. I know I didn't go very heavy today, but when I do my heavy days, I love to wear my knee sleeves. They just kind of give me that extra little spring to get out of the hole in my squats. All right, so now we're gonna talk about a lifting belt. Some people think that it is to help protect your back and your legs, which is not the case. The purpose of a belt is to give your core a place to push against. So it's almost like you're flexing against it to really give you some power in order to get your lifts. Now you're gonna see people using a belt in deadlifts or squats. Sometimes you'll see them in bench press. I personally do not like benching with a belt, but I know a lot of people that do. You can do overhead press. It literally just provides this little barrier right here to push against and to brace against. That's the phrase you're hearing is you're bracing against it. So you're literally pushing your stomach against it as you're lifting to be able to complete that lift. Pretty simple. No lower back help here. It's literally just for our abdomen to give us something to brace against. Let's go give you an example. Now, do you need a belt? Do you not need a belt? I think most of the time you don't need a belt, but if you're going to be lifting heavy or you really want to get better at engaging your core, using a belt can really help you engage those muscles and to learn how to engage your core. You might want to try adding it in so you can really learn how to brace against your belt. So next we're going to talk about wrist straps. Now I know we see wrist straps probably most often here or at any gym, any commercial gym, but what's the purpose of having wrist straps? When we are benching or we are overhead pressing or even squatting, when we have our hand underneath the bar, our wrist is pinched back like this, which puts so much pressure down into our elbow. So it can cause a lot of elbow pain if we are holding our wrist like this. So what wrist straps do is they're going to pull them up so that it really gives us that firm, straight joint in our wrist so that we can alleviate any elbow pain and any wrist pain that we would get from it. So we're just gonna take it and I'm just gonna wrap this baby up nice and tight. Where almost my fingers, I can barely even pull my fingers backwards. See, I can't even move my wrist backwards, so there's no risk of me bending my wrist or causing any injuries to it. You can keep the thumb loops on or you can take them off. I do not like them on, so that's preference. So as we bench, you can see my wrists are not falling backwards. I literally can't even do it. They're gonna stay nice and straight. Now, deadlift straps. Now, you'll see deadlift straps used in some big competitions like strongman. They're allowed to use them. You also see them in the gym. I like using deadlift straps because my forearms are not very strong. And so in order for me to lift heavier, that's why we usually utilize using our deadlift straps. And again, you'll use these mostly for deadlifts. Sometimes you'll see them with dumbbells. If they're really heavy dumbbells, doing any kind of rowing, you'll see them there too. But it's just because we don't quite have the forearm strength to lift the weight, but our other muscles do. So these are just a really good assistant to do that. So we're just gonna take this. There's a couple different types of straps. I prefer these ones. There's ones called figure eights that are really easy to get back under, but we're just gonna wrap these around and we're gonna utilize our wrist to give us some extra strength to lift heavier. Now, using deadlift straps, should you use them? Kind of depends. I would not utilize them all of the time. I really do want to strengthen my forearms so I can lift without having to use deadlift straps, especially if you're in a sport like powerlifting where straps are not allowed. So some of the time I would say yes, but I would usually mostly use them on my back offsets or my accessories, not really on my main lifts, just so I can build up my forearms as well. So should you use them? Kind of depends. Now, this is just a couple of different pieces of equipment that you'll see people using in the gym. Now that you kind of know what they're for and how to use them, you can kind of determine if they fit best for you and for your workout. Get out there and get lifting.